Coming up next on the CHGO Cubs podcast, presented by Toyota and Bet365, the Cubs fall short of the NLCS. The Brewers fly the L flag. We're rolling forward to the offseason, but let's poke at the cadaver just a little bit longer of the 2025 Chicago Cubs. We're going to do thumbs up, thumbs down on today's episode with me and Luke Stuckmeyer, so stick around. Coming up next on the CHGO Cubs podcast. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's the CHGO Cubs podcast presented by Toyota. Let's go places, and also Bet365. Whatever the moment, it is never ordinary. Use code CHGO365 when you sign up. Joey Christopolous in studio, coming at you live. We got Luke Stuckmeyer here in a secluded location in Mexico, taking some time off automatically. How you doing, Luke?
Good. You know, it took a little while for the sting of that loss to the Brewers to wear off, but I did bring home some rally cake that helped ease me in, kind of make the transition from real life baseball to long, cold off season.
If we're not going to be popular in the land of baseball, let's just be popular in the neighborhood, because we got cake. We got cake for everyone to share and enjoy. Luke, we got a fun episode for you today. Everyone hop in the chat. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to our channel. Speaking of subscriptions, we have a little update right now.
Ooh, man, we are right there.
CHGO Sports, Luke, 10 subscribers away from 90K. Luke, who's going to step up? Who's going to do it? Who's going to bring us to 90 today? I want it during this show.
Somebody in the Cubs chat starts telling people, get the subscribers. Let it be a Cubs fan that gets us to 90,000. We keep pushing the CHGO Cubs specialized YouTube channel, right? The one that we've created for all our content. But this is the CHGO Sports one where all the teams are viewed. The original one, 90,000 away. And Joey, the beauty of this is when we get those 10 more subscribers, which if it doesn't happen here in this show, it's going to happen during Bears pregame or Bears postgame. It's going to happen today. Okay.
Absolutely.
When it does happen, there's some benefits to all the subscribers out there and the diehards. There's going to be a little, kickback for you guys. Some deals is what I hear. Some special deals coming for the diehards.
That's a good tease. It's a good tease. Yeah, we got a lot of amazing offers for the diehards once we hit 90,000 subscribers. And Luke, I can't help but fear, based on some of the numbers in the comments of our last few episodes. I don't know if you looked at the last post-game episode. We got absolutely ambushed and bombarded by Milwaukee Brewers fans. So is it going to be a Milwaukee Brewer that puts us over 90K? Is it going to be a weird? It's fine.
Don't care.
Get on.
Whatever it takes, Brewers fans. They might be. I know that I got a couple replies to we would send out on social clips of stuff that we said in the final show, whether it was on Twitter or Instagram. Oh, that's a sensitive group in Milwaukee. That's a very sensitive group up there, the Brewers fans. Little brother's very upset with big brother.
Well, it also really just kind of crystallizes just sort of the world that we live in with social media and everything, where, yeah, I'm with you. They watched a 2-minute clip where I feel like we spent a lot of time giving credit to the Milwaukee Brewers, who beat us in 5 games. I think we spent a lot of time talking about the Chicago Cubs and where they came up short. Luke, I just want to get your take while we're getting rolling here. The L flag by the Milwaukee Brewers. Cool move, triumphant move, troll move, little brother move. Where are you landing on the L flag with the Milwaukee Brewers during their celebration?
Listen, I don't care. Personally, as a Cubs fan, I don't care. Whatever. I just think it shows it shouldn't bother a Cubs player. I don't think a Cubs player cares. I don't really think the Cubs fans care. It's just classless, right? If I could think of one word, win with some class, what would be the alternative to that? If the Cubs beat the Brewers on their home field, what would we do?
No, Nothing, because
I don't know.
Because Luke, they're jealous of our culture. It's simple. Like, they're jealous of North Side, Wrigleyville. The beer is cold. The sun is out. We're in the bleachers
Invasion,
singing the seventh inning stretch. We got the song. We got the flag. And let's be honest, that they want to stick it to us, but it's because they're jealous of a culture that they simply don't have.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people in the chat are saying, well, it's winning without class. It's Bush League. Can we start talking about football? It's all those things. It just shows that your little brother, if you're consumed after your biggest, this is their first series playoff win since 2017, I believe. Okay. All right. Like, win something. Like, if you want to, I just don't get why you would win that way and then be like, let's go find an L flag and take it out for our team photo when we have 8 more wins, if we're actually going to win our first World Series championship in franchise history. You're 8 wins away still. Why would you still be worried about the Cubs? It's like the little brother Sox thing when the Sox won the World Series. Jerry saying, screw the Cubs, basically, and now he's rooting for the Brewers in this Cubs series. It's a little brother mentality. I don't get it. Like, why worry about, it's like getting married and taking a picture and sending it to your ex, right? Like, isn't that what it is? It's like, what?
I was literally kind of thinking the same thing of I'm just trying to be like honest with myself. Like, when the Chicago Cubs won the pennant in 2016, you know what I stopped thinking about? The Dodgers. It just flew out of my mind. I had no reflection or care for the team that I just beat. I was only looking forward. And for the Milwaukee Brewers, I get it. It's a fun story. I bet it is very annoying that we absolutely flood their stadium, Greg Greg's Jr. Stadium, with tons of fans. I get it. I'm sure it's very annoying, but I don't understand why they're not like just thinking about their own team and moving forward and facing the Dodgers. They're still thinking about the Cubs. And we saw it, and it was reflected in the comments too as well, Luke. So good luck to them. We're going to roll forward here. Obviously, the offseason is going to be, it's going to be really interesting, Luke. That's for sure. But I do think today's episode, I think we want to reflect back just a little bit. And you came up with a segment. You thought of this idea of going through the Cubs, thumbs up, thumbs down. And I kind of want to just get your thoughts really quick on how you want to attack that. And we are going to talk a little bit about, more about Brewers and Dodgers and Mariners, Blue Jays, and all that stuff. Mariners last night. Holy cow. But Luke, let's start getting into the thumbs up, thumbs down. When you're thinking about this, like, what were your initial thoughts? Are you still living in the present right now? Are you able to start looking at this season as a whole, or is it still stinging for you?
No. I can look at it as a whole. I was doing it while the series was still going on. I mean, quite frankly, after the Cubs beat the Padres, that was a successful season for the Cubs. When you're going from 83 wins and not being in the playoffs and not being the year before, you're 10 games behind the Brewers in the division, and you've closed the gap to now 5 games in the division, and you make the playoffs finally, and you win a series. You've done something. Now, taking the Brewers to 5 games, would it have been sweet to move on to the NLCS for the 4th time in 11 years? Yeah, that would have been, icing on top with a double frosting, maybe, if you want to call it that, for the rally cake. But like, in general, this was a winning season. This put the Cubs back into being a factor. They weren't a factor for several years, right? We went from the glory days of Cubs baseball to the Cubs just kind of being irrelevant for a while. And I think it was seen mostly in this series when it was played at Wrigley Field, right? We could see it just in our numbers. Like, our numbers went up instantly once the Cubs made the postseason. But look at the crowds at Wrigley Field, how rabid they were. We haven't seen that since the, Brizzo days. This was the Cubs getting back to being relevant in Major League Baseball. Not just another team, but to being one of the 8 best or the 4 best or the 5 best, right? Like, they're in the mix for being one of the best teams in baseball. They were only 5 games behind the Brewers. So for me, I can look at it in a grand scheme and zoom out right away and say, thumbs up to that. You've put yourself back on the map.
Yeah, I'm when you're reflecting back, and this is what makes baseball's so fun because it's 162, and then it kind of boils down to just a handful of games to see how far you can move forward. And when you're looking back on it, I mean, I was having a hard time trying to assess. I'm going thumbs up too as well. But I have noticed that, like, when I look back, the first couple months of the season really just supercharged the fan base again and really got us dreaming big early on in the year, especially when you talk about bringing in a guy like Kyle Tucker. He's hitting the ball hard. We're setting like these, not historic, but we're definitely on top of the National League in terms of offense. Some of the starting pitching looks pretty solid at the time. We didn't even have Cade Horton yet in the rotation. And so those first couple months couldn't have been any higher in terms of a thumbs up. The part that I'm just trying to figure out, Luke, is it isn't about excuse making, but when I look back, and let's just stick in this town specifically. And if you look at the 2 World Series teams that we've had in the 21st century here in Chicago, both of those teams got very, very lucky when it comes to the injury bug. You just didn't really see it with any of the major players or any of the major stars or factors in that lineup. For the most part, all those guys stayed healthy. They played all the way through the year. Now, granted, those teams were very different than this Cubs team. I'm not trying to compare them. I'm saying it's a component of what you need to sometimes have a charmed season. And the Chicago Cubs, to their credit, I think was thumbs up the first couple months of the year. And then obviously we saw it starting to happen in July a little bit. And what are they going to do at the trade deadline? And oh no, they don't do anything at the trade deadline. Wait a second, the division's gone. The division's gone. Hold on, what do we do? And they're playing 500 baseball, but the Milwaukee Brewers are charging and they're scorching hot. Now we rebound. I felt pretty nicely in September. We get a great performance by Cade Horton, but then he gets hurt. I'm with you that in totality, at the finish line, when you look at it with the Chicago Cubs, this was definitely a thumbs up season, because now it's not heading into the offseason, but like, when are we going to make the playoffs again? When are we going to get back to 90 wins? The Cubs are back into that position. Where I'm having a hard time just kind of wrapping my head around it is that they did lose guys multiple times throughout the year. They did have some challenges, and we'll never know whether Kyle Tucker was 100% or not. And it sort of sits there, and that's what makes it feel, it's a thumbs up for me, but I can't help but also snap my fingers and say, damn it, a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you're right about the two World Series teams in Chicago. And shout out to all the Brewers fans that are celebrating 5 division titles in our chat.
Still here, guys. All right.
Still here. Still giving us a click. I appreciate it. Hey, I mean, what happens if Kyle Tucker is healthy all season? What happens if Cade Horton is healthy for the playoffs? What happens if Justin Steele never got hurt? I mean, you are talking about your best prospect, now your best pitcher, and without question, your best position player, right? Like, so it's hard to say it wouldn't have been a factor, but the playoffs are a different animal. Counsell kind of talked about it afterwards. It's why I jokingly give a lot of grief to Brewers fans, but at the same time, there is a wild card factor, for lack of a better term, to the postseason. It's totally different than the regular season. The best team doesn't always win. It doesn't mean that the Brewers, or in other years, the Cubs didn't have the best team. The Cubs did have the best record a couple times, right? Like, but that team doesn't always win the World Series. There's something that happens when the postseason starts that you also have to win that. And it's a different type of baseball, right? Like, the pitching matchups are totally different. You're facing the best pitchers all the time. You're not facing a guy that gets called up and is just making a random start in the middle of the season. That's all different. So, yeah, it's disappointing that the Cubs didn't win the World Series, but they might have the best record in baseball next year and not make it as far as this. Look at the Phillies. If you want a team that's disappointed in the postseason, well, the Phillies are way more disappointed than the Cubs are. By the way, the Brewers were two runs away, or 3 runs away, from being outrageously disappointed. Like, their postseason was put on display against the Cubs here, and it was almost like all that success, the division titles, all of that was sort of on trial, if you will, right? Like,
yeah.
But are they good enough to finally win a playoff series, let alone get back to the World Series, or let alone finally win a World Series. This was, all right, well, you've won a bunch of division titles, but it's led to a lot of one and dones, right?
Yep.
And so that could happen to the Cubs next year, even if they are the best team. So I'm not disappointed in the way it necessarily finished. I'm giving them a straight thumbs up for the year. They're way more relevant than they were a year ago.
Yeah, and the thumbs up also is we got a chance to get a taste of it. And as a Cubs fan, you have to understand that the lesson in this specifically is that the National League is legit and not going anywhere. There are a handful of teams every single year that you're going to have to beat round after round after round just to win the pennant and get to the World Series. We're going to take a break here on the CHGO Cubs podcast. Make sure you like this video. Subscribe. We're only a couple members away from being at 90,000. On the other side of the break, we're going to continue our thumbs up and thumbs down the 2025 Cubs. I think Craig Counsell is next, so stick around. But first, we got to take a break right here on the CHGO Cubs podcast. Hey, Cubs fans, whatever the moment, never ordinary at Bet365. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. And the most important one, football early payout. The football early payout offer is your winner if your team goes up by 17 points with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. So download the app, use code CHGO365 when you sign up. You can also double your winnings and parlays with the Bet365 100% parlay boost. Download that app, use code CHGO365 when you sign up. Remember, baseball playoffs right now, you can still get on the action. Football is in full swing, and you get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Use that code CHGO365. Deposit 10. Place a bet for $5. You get $200 in those bonus bets, and you could use it on props, futures, whatever. Remember, you must be 21 plus or older if you or someone you know has a gambling problem. Crisis counseling, referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER in-app only.
Let's get real for a second. The world has gone soft. Everybody gets a trophy for just showing up. People get upset over an L flag in a picture. Everything needs to be bubble wrapped. Soda used to have some kick. Now it's all about pretty colors and easy fizz. RC Cola is not a soft drink. RC Cola is just a damn good cola. You know what I mean? It's the original cola that doesn't fold under any pressure. RC is the OG in a world of spineless soft drinks. No trends, no gimmicks, no glow up. RC hasn't changed their stripe since 1905 because they didn't need to. Same bold, crisp flavor. It's always been. RC tastes like a punch right in the thirst. So do yourself a favor. Grab some RC for the Bears game tonight on Monday Night Football. Stock up for all your off-season parties. Maybe it's graduation later, or maybe it's the holidays. RC is the move for whatever you're doing. Stock up with some RC for that Halloween party. Don't be scared. Go get some. It's bold.
Boom. Coming back here on the CHGO Cubs podcast. Remember, hit the like button. Subscribe to our channel. We're so close to getting to 90,000 subscribers on CHGO Sports. That will unlock a plethora of amazing deals that we want to unleash on all the good people. So please make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Joey Christopolous here with Luke Stuckmeyer, who you can't see him, but underneath he's wearing one of those sauna body bags right now because of all the cake that he's had. CHGO pride.
I'm wearing the black CHGO collegiate hoodie because number one, it's slimming, which I need now after all the rally cake. And number two, it's a state of mourning as we head into the dark, deep, cold offseason of baseball.
Yeah, we're months away from the winter meetings, but plenty to talk about here for sure. We're doing thumbs up, thumbs down on the 2025 Cubs season. So, Luke, let's get into Craig Counsell, a guy stolen away from the Milwaukee Brewers in the middle of the night. I'm going to throw this at you. Thumbs up or thumbs down on the 2025 season for Craig Counsell?
I will give him, I'm going to give him this, just like you did. I can't go thumbs up or thumbs down. And it's funny that I still see the Brewers fans in the chat are calling us sensitive, yet, they're still crying about the manager that left for an $8 million job. Okay, here's the deal. He didn't beat his old team. I think he got outmanaged in the best of 5 series against the Brewers. In my opinion, he was outmanaged by his mentor. Okay. But I thought it was his best. It's easy to say it was his best season as Cubs manager. Why? Because they won 92 games. And he said at the end of last year, let's win 90. So He got him to the postseason. He got him through the first round of the wild card. Those are all positives. And there was development from young players, even though at times I didn't agree with everything he did. Now, we can all debate whether or not Michael Busch should bat against lefties. I think he should next year, for sure. But you can also look at it from Counsell's perspective and say, well, he didn't. And look at how he performed now in the offseason. You can't say that Michael Busch hasn't gone like this. He has. And is that because of Counsell's decision and the talent and all those things? Because Counsell put him in good positions not to bat against some lefties? Maybe, whatever. I just like the place that Michael Busch is in. Now, PCA went up like a meteoric rise and then kind of fell down. I like the way the young players seem to be developing for the Cubs franchise. I give him credit for that. He got him to the postseason. I think he got outmanaged in the second series the Cubs played. So I'll give him a thumbs in the middle of the road.
Yeah, I'm thumbs in the middle of the road, but I'm going to do a slight tick at about a 15 degree angle up, because I will say that I liked a lot from what I saw from Craig Counsell this year, but I think next year's the year when he earns his money, right? Yeah, I completely agree with you with everything you said. Let's start first with Michael Busch. Now, if you just kind of look at the trajectory of the relationship between Michael Busch and Craig Counsell, first year together, Michael Busch, pretty streaky hitter. And I think Craig Counsell would back off of him at times and kind of give him those 3-4 days that we were kind of begging for with other players in the second half of the year. I felt like he did that pretty consistently with Michael Busch 2 years ago. So what's the next part of that progression? This year became much more consistent player, but as you said, did not face lefties very often. And obviously the splits in the numbers reflect just not a lot of production in that particular area. I'm hoping that in the next year, I think Michael Busch is getting to the point where you can expose him to more left-handed pitching, and I think that he'll be able to perform at a higher clip. But to your point, Luke, when we're talking about the playoffs, he walked into the end of the year, him and Seiya, the most dangerous hitters in the Cubs lineup. The Milwaukee Brewers said as much, that of all the players in the lineup that they're worried about, they were worried about Michael Busch. And the part I got to ding Craig Counsell on, and I agree with you with Pat Murphy, was Pat Murphy laid down a bluff and tried to get Craig Counsell to flinch, and he did. And he started Justin Turner. Now, Justin Turner went 1 for 2. I get it, but when you look at a guy who had 4 postseason home runs, I don't want to take any at-bats away from that guy, right? Yeah. And I just felt like when it came to Craig Counsell versus Pat Murphy specifically, I felt like consistently Pat Murphy was the aggressor of trying to put the Cubs into a mode of decision-making. Not necessarily on their heels, but have them make a choice and react to what I do instead of maybe Craig Counsell going out there and being the aggressor. Now, when you don't have Cade Horton to start a series and you got to do Matthew Boyd on 3 rests, which was his decision, maybe it puts you into a box where maybe you're not able to be as aggressive as you want to when you make moves and try and do matchup stuff. But there was a lot of stuff with Craig Counsell that I did like. Again, what was the harp? What was the theme of this season, right? They never got too up. They really never got too down. They were consistently winning series all year long. That is a credit a little bit to the manager running the day-to-day operation of the baseball team. Again, I will highlight what you said. I do like a lot what he did in terms of developing players the last couple years. When we talk about some of the things that we didn't like about David Ross, some of the things that Craig Counsell has brought to this team in terms of developing these young players, has definitely been a positive. And then towards the end of the year, right, I thought it was gutsy of him to bring Daniel Palencia back and say, look, kid, you got to pitch the 6th inning or you're going to be our bridge guy. You're going to be our fireman. You're not necessarily going to come back and take the 9th inning. And I think in general, that's a philosophical message of we need out-getters. We're not here about what role you're in or what stature you might have on the ball club. So I think some good things with Craig Counsell. I think I'm with a lot of Cubs fans that wish the personality, apparently on the inside, Luke, is great. But on the outside and in public, is it too much? Is that a Cubs thing, right? Because we've lived with the Lou Pinellas or the Dusty Bakers and the Joe Maddens that the personality is just lacking a little bit. He just doesn't offer much in that regard.
No, let me give you my best Craig Counsell impression. Yeah. That's
rub your head.
Right. Yeah, like a lot of sign for questions. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Like, do I think that the Cubs would have won Game 5 if Pat Murphy was their manager instead of Craig Counsell? No, I don't. I think the Cubs got beaten by a slightly better, healthier team, both in the regular season and in a best of 5. Plain and simple. Like, I don't think the gap between the two teams is very great anymore. I think last year it was 10 games, and one team was in the postseason and one was not. Now you have 3 teams from the division in it. We're going to see what Counsell's made of, because the young pitching is coming in this division, and the Cubs are going to have to figure it out, and you're going to need him to be a difference maker. If a manager can be a difference maker in Major League Baseball, we need to stop worrying about the $8 million and the $40 million contract, because it doesn't impact anything. It doesn't impact the game. It doesn't impact his decisions. It doesn't impact how they're building the roster, because it's not part of heading into a luxury tax. It's just what the front office wanted to pay him, and they got him to leave a rival, and they thought they could upgrade. And I would say they did upgrade. Was it worth $8 million a year? Probably not, but like, it's not my $8 million, and it doesn't impact anything else. And
it doesn't go on the payroll. It's not a part of the payroll.
Craig Counsell lives in. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. My one more before we go to break here on the CHGO Cubs podcast. If we could exclude, win the World Series, go deeper into the playoffs from this conversation, if there's one thing that you would like to see from Craig Counsell next year, what would it be? Is it winning the division as a priority? I'll allow that. Is it the continued development of guys like Matt Shaw, or if we graduate Jackson Wiggins? What's one thing that you would like to see from Craig Counsell, if you could say improvement, or maybe if this happened by the end of next year, you could say, wow, I'm starting to feel really good about the long-term future of Craig Counsell and the Cubs together?
No question, I want to see the Cubs win the division, because I've said if the Cubs won this division, they would have been playing the last game at home, and maybe that is a 2-run difference. It was in the other games. Like, I know people have said, well, the Cubs didn't hit in Game 1, Game 2, or Game 5. Yes, they were all in Milwaukee.
Yes.
Right?
And the Brewers only hit home runs in Milwaukee. They did not hit a single home run in Wrigley Field. I know, and it's a small sample size, but it's true. Their
manager said as much. Like, where you're playing does make a difference, or did make a difference in this ballpark. I would like to see, yes, division is number 1, but number 2 would be, I would like to see Craig start to have enough influence with the building of the roster and the developing of the roster, that we start to see him have an effect on what's really made the Brewers successful. And I don't believe it's necessarily one player or one way of playing the game or bullpen decisions. They have done a great job over the last 5 or 6 years at least of developing these fireballer arms one after another. And that was the real difference in this postseason, that they could march out 100 miles an hour from 6 different guys, and the Cubs offense, especially on the road, went silent. And so I would like to see him have that type of influence in the way our organization is building and developing pitching. The Cubs have made great strides there. Palencia is the first one to kind of be that, hey, here's the 100 and he's legit. But how about 4 or 5 more? I want to see the development of the young players, and I think that's the place he can actually have the biggest impact.
Yeah, and do not mistake when you're talking about, Craig Counsell gets a say. I mean, I don't think he gets a say on dollar amount with Jed Hoyer and the budget and all that stuff, but I do think he gets a say in terms of players that he'd like to target. And I'm with you. I think developing, Matt Shaw taking another step, PCA taking another step, and being more consistent. Let's see what we get from Cade Horton. Do you graduate a guy like Jackson Wiggins? And then maybe my other one is look, we're in off-season territory, so this is kind of general, not very specific. I want more Brad Kellers on this team. I want more where did this guy come from? Where did this guy bring him over into our system, into our pitch lab, and all of a sudden now he's seeing results? I want to see more of, I think the Milwaukee Brewers have tons of, where'd that guy come from? I think the Chicago Cubs are going to spend money. Don't get me wrong. But I think when you find those guys, And I know the Chicago Cubs love to attack the margins and the fringes, but they have to work. I think sometimes that's a part of the manager kind of bringing those dudes in and thinking, I think this guy in this different system, he comes and plays for us. I think we can turn him around and have a successful season. We're going to take another break here on the CHGO Cubs podcast. We're doing thumbs up. We're doing thumbs down. We still got to do the offense. We still got to do the pitching. We still got to do the bullpen. We got to do a little bit of everything and talk general baseball too as well. But first, let's take a break right here on the CHGO Cubs podcast.
Hey, Cubs fans, pay attention. Toyota has 25 vehicles available with all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. The RAV4 has legendary versatility. The Grand Highlander's adult-sized third row is for real. And the Tacoma's wild side comes standard. Bad weather's on the way. You want all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. From job sites to campsites to game nights, there's an all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive Toyota ready to get you there safely in style. Find yours at Toyota.com or visit your Chicagoland Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. We've mentioned this. What a time it is to be a CHGO diehard. This is a huge offseason for the Cubs. The Bulls and Blackhawks are getting started right now, and the Bears are on Monday Night Football tonight. And will they be for real? We're going to find out. We've got all kinds of written content for you to get access to. Sign up today. You can get our Discord lounge. You can get all the discounts. Go to allchgo.com for the latest information on how you can join the thousands of CHGO diehards already in our community. Can't wait to connect with you on an even greater level. And again, once we reach 90,000 subscribers on YouTube, there's some diehard deals coming.
Oh boy, big diehard deals that we're not going to spoil until it happens. So make sure hit that subscribe button. And we also want to talk about a company that we love so much. And we want to talk specifically to coaches right now. Hey, coaches, listen up. If you're looking for more athletes to train, Eye on the Ball is where you need to be. The company created by CHGO diehards, they make it simple. You create your profile, you upload your background check, and boom, you are in the game. New promo right now. You can get up to 6 months free, or you could pay $50 a month or $500 for the year. Athletes of all ages and all sports can find you directly. And here's the best part about Eye on the Ball. They don't mess with your schedule. They don't mess with your payments. They don't mess with anything. It's your business and you are in full control. They just connect you with athletes who are already looking for a coach like you. So if you're ready to grow your coaching business and reach more athletes, go check it out right now. It's eyeontheball.net, the company created by CHGO diehards. Eyeontheball.net. Don't wait. The athletes are out there looking for someone just like you. Coming back on the CHGO Cubs podcast, Joey Christopolous, Luke Stuckmeyer. We're doing thumbs up, thumbs down on the 2025 Chicago Cubs. Luke, I'll open this one up to you, man. Dealer's choice. Which direction do you want to go next with your thumbs up and thumbs down?
Which players do we want to go thumbs up, thumbs down, or just decisions the Cubs made? I'll give you a general one.
Yeah.
And that is the Cubs offense. It was thumbs up the first half of the season, and it was thumbs down the second half of the season. And some of that can go to specific players. So let's start with the one that everybody's going to talk about, Kyle Tucker, right? Do I believe he's coming back? I think we've seen Kyle Tucker play his last game in a Cubs uniform. Wow. I don't know if there was ever really a chance that they were going to extend Kyle Tucker or be serious bidders for Kyle Tucker. But the way it finished leads me to believe that if there was even a thread of hope that Tucker was going to be part of this future, I think that's over. I think he's gone. Somebody's going to take him, right? And you go through that, and if you want to compare Cody Bellinger's numbers to Tucker this year and say, well, Cody Bellinger was just as good as Kyle Tucker was this year, I can't argue against that. I would just say this. While I will give Tucker this, just like I did Craig, because the first half was, man, this is everything we asked for. And it's totally worth trading away great young prospects and controllable players for the next couple of years. It was totally worth that. I believe it was worth it anyways, because you got to see full picture Kyle Tucker. If you just looked at the first half, there's a different picture. If you just looked at the second half, there's a different picture. So we got the full picture of Kyle Tucker and now what we think the Cubs should pay him. I just warn you this, that although my thumb is in the middle on Kyle Tucker's season in a Cubs uniform, for everybody that wants to say, good, go, save the money, go somewhere else, the Cubs have to find that same player that they had in the first half of the season They still have to have that guy in the center of the lineup. Otherwise, you'll be back here next year. That is the guy that makes the difference. But it's got to be that guy. And for a whole season and in the postseason, not just the first half up to the All-Star break. So I'll give him a middle thumb, if you will, instead of a middle finger.
Yeah, I mean, and again, yeah, if you don't want Kyle Tucker on your team, if you're mad at Kyle Tucker, all this other stuff, like, please, for the love of God, have a plan. Like, what's the plan?
That's right.
There has to be something. You have to supplement that, because you're right. The first 2 months of the season, the reason why we got so excited about the Cubs, and frankly, the reason why we were even in the playoffs in the first place, was the quality of baseball that they played in the first 2 months of the year. And Kyle Tucker had a huge thing to do with that. So, Luke, man, we're usually of like-minded on this. I got a little slight disagreement here, because this is what I'm thinking, right? When you're talking about Kyle Tucker, I hold him in a high regard as an offensive baseball player. And I don't think we'll all say it, right? He was a top 8, 9, 10 offensive hitter the last 3 or 4 seasons, no matter how you slice it, in a lot of different metrics across baseball. He hits left-handed. He hits for slug. He's low maintenance from a personality standpoint. Just a really great player. So having said that, because of the trade and because of the expectation and because of the expectation and respect that I have for Kyle Tucker, this was a thumbs down for me.
Yeah.
This did not work, Luke. At the end of the day, multiple things didn't happen. The first one was Kyle Tucker did not take Chicago by storm. Now, this was, of course, due to some injury, right? You can't walk away from that, but the facts are the facts. Like, did not take Chicago by storm. I get it. There was tons of extend Kyle Tucker signs all across Wrigley Field, but there was definitely some displeasure, I will say, at times in late July and August, especially from the Wrigley faithful, with Kyle Tucker running the bases. On top of that, the postseason performance just simply wasn't. If he's not 100%, that's fine. But if the playoff performance simply stated that he wasn't able to be that type of difference maker to take the Cubs over the edge, or at least when you're talking about a lineup in general, a guy that can kind of lift all boats and carry us through in moments when we needed it the most. And unfortunately, in Game 5, had 2 opportunities there with men on base and just simply hit ground balls to second and didn't get it done. The final one, though, Luke, is where I'm in agreement with you, is what you said of, I didn't really learn who Kyle Tucker truly is in a Cubs uniform this year because of everything that happened from the moment that he fractured his finger, from the moment that he slammed a ball off of his knee, from the moment that he came back and had a calf string and went on an IL stint, came back, only hit for a couple of days, and then went into the playoffs. So if you are the Chicago Cubs or you're a Cubs fan, there isn't a clear picture. It is a murky picture to look into when you're trying to say to yourself, how much money do I want to give Kyle Tucker? What has he earned? And I think I'm with you, man. At this point, I'm starting to believe that someone on the open market that didn't experience the day-to-day of what this Kyle Tucker saga at times was, is going to look at it and clearly overbid the Chicago Cubs, unless it's a situation. Do you believe in the hypothetical that he could sit on the market for a while and then the shorter term deal that's been floated out there? Do you think that's still a possibility? Or do you believe that at the end of the day, someone is going to come to the table, come correct, and offer him $300 million, whatever it is?
I don't think somebody's offering him like a 7-year deal. I don't.
Right.
And that's because of the injuries. So I think it's going to be a higher number per year and a smaller deal. And that's kind of maybe changed what he thought or what he was probably hoping to get. He was probably hoping to get, what we were talking about, like $400 million, 10 years type deal. But I don't think that's happening because of what we've seen with the injuries over the last 2 seasons. I'm still not 100% one way or the other on should the Cubs even factor in the Kyle Tucker, because the first half was exactly what they need. And I could easily see him being healthy next year and being in the MVP race again. Like what he reminds me of, though, is you were talking about, I didn't really get a full picture. I don't really know what I should give him. That's how we all feel. You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of a Bears quarterback. That's like when Justin Fields would run for 100 yards and we'd be like, oh, yes, he can do it. And then he couldn't throw a screen pass 5 times in a row. Or Caleb Williams, you'd be like, I don't know. I can't fully judge him because the offensive line was so bad. Oh, I can't fully judge him because Luke Getsy was a moron. Or I can't fully judge him because, Eberflus didn't know what to do. Or I can't fully.
Matt Nagy set him up for disaster. Yeah.
Something, right?
Yeah.
And that's. Can we just get a clear picture? I think the full season gave us a clear picture. He's probably not a guy who health-wise is going to age super well. That scares me off a long-term deal anyways. But if you're talking about 1 year and you want to take a flyer because there's probably going to be a work stoppage in a year and you want to say, all right, I'll give this guy a lot of money for 1 year. Is that the best way to spend that 1 year? Or are you better off going and spending it on a stud pitcher for, whatever? I don't know the answer to that. I think I'd go pitching right now more than even though the hitting was the biggest problem in the postseason.
Yeah, and the reason why I'm just sticking with the thumbs down is just play the exercise out simply. Like, if it had worked with Kyle Tucker, what does that look like? It means, and forget the wins and losses and how far the team goes. He could have hit 60 home runs and we could have gotten bounced by the Milwaukee Brewers. It's totally possible. But if it had worked with Kyle Tucker this year, if it was a thumbs up year for Kyle Tucker, I think we would be saying to ourselves, man, he's so good. The Cubs just got to do it. Right?
Yeah.
The Cubs just gotta pay him.
I was there in the first half. He's a huge reason they got to the postseason.
Yes.
Period. He's a huge reason why they are now a legitimate team in Major League Baseball and not just an 83-win team in baseball over and over and over. He's also a huge reason why they didn't get to the NLCS.
Yeah, 100%.
He didn't deliver in the biggest moment.
And is it also fair to say either the Chicago Cubs or Kyle Tucker himself didn't do themselves any favors, right? Because what did we harp on consistently on this show about just the dodgy nature of it, the mystery factor, the fog around, is he or isn't he hurt? And if he is hurt, why is he not on the IL? And all that stuff, it seems like it all kind of sort of built up towards this inconclusive picture for the Chicago Cubs. And now that he hits the open market, right, maybe the price is too great on what might be now considered a risk.
For sure it is. And he's just it's real difficult to decide what he's going to get this offseason. It only takes one team to make that crazy offer. And I think somebody's going to give him that offer. It's probably somebody like the Yankees, right? Like, they'll probably look at it and say, well, we had Bellinger, it was pretty good, but whoa, Kyle Tucker, if he's healthy, his ceiling's higher than what even Cody Bellinger did this season, right?
And Luke, that's where the hypothetical of if Kyle Tucker's market isn't where he wants to be, and if he wants to do a short-term deal, I don't think it's with the Chicago Cubs either, because why wouldn't he go to a ballpark like the Yankees on a one-year opt-out deal, literally do what Cody Bellinger did and post, hopefully that over 850 OPS and then re-enter the market and get that 400 you've always wanted. So even if it's short term now, there's a real narrative and a real bugaboo about left-handed hitters hitting in Wrigley. So I'm struggling to see the scenario why Kyle Tucker and the Chicago Cubs are going to come together on a deal and he's going to be in a Cubs uniform next year.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked to see him go back to the Astros, to be honest with you. That's another place he could go back. I don't think he really wanted to leave. And if it's a short-term deal, I could see the Astros doing it. I just don't think they're willing to hand out long-term deals to him. So we'll see. It's going to be a crazy offseason. The chances of him being a Cub, I think, are somewhere between slim and none next year.
What a swindle that would be, though, for the Astros. If they trade Kyle Tucker away for a year, get Cam Smith, Isaac Paredes, Wesneski, and then just get Tucker back. To be fair,
it's not the first time it's happened to the Chicago Cubs, right? They traded Gleyber Torres to the Yankees for Aroldis Chapman, and Aroldis Chapman turned right around and signed back with the Yankees the following season. So it happens all the time. If you can double dip like that, it works out.
That one's just a little different because it was like a trade deadline deal, right? Yeah. Expiring contract where, this was like the Cubs' plan. They were like, we're going to get rid of Cam Smith forever. We're not going to have him a 6-year controllable rookie in our outfield. Nope.
No. And that's one of the decisions they have to make moving forward. And luckily, if you look at it in a lot of ways, Matt Shaw had a better year than Cam Smith, but obviously time will tell in terms of the long-term of this team, and especially Matt Shaw versus Cam Smith. Got to take a break here. One more break here on the CHGO Cubs podcast. If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel because we're so dang close from 90,000 viewers. Me and Luke Stuckmeyer are going to be back in just a minute and finish off our thumbs up, thumbs down episode on the 2025 Cubs. But first, a message here on the CHGO Cubs podcast.
Winter is coming. Jon Snow told me, and at Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric, they guarantee same-day installation for all your heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical, and generator needs with no extra charge for nights, weekends, or holidays. Don't do what I did. Get your furnace tuned up now. I had to put mine on the other night. It was just getting too cold in the house, and I just kind of crossed my fingers, hoping and wishing that it would come on. It did, but it didn't sound great, so I've already called Four Seasons. You can save up to $4,000 on furnaces and comfort systems with Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Furnaces start at $39 a month. Furnace AC combos at $57 a month. You can call today and save $50 from your trusted local experts. Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric has been serving our Chicagoland area for more than 50 years. Your trusted local experts. Visit Four Seasons heatingcooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's Four Seasons heatingcooling.com. Don't wait. Winter is coming.
And we also want to talk about the Game Time app that gives the advantage back to the fans. It is the hack for unlocking amazing tickets and experiences in just a few taps. Incredibly easy to use, and the Game Time guarantee means that you can trust you'll get 100% authentic tickets on time and for the best price. And plus, fees are included. So what you see is what you pay. They got the lowest price guaranteed. They got event cancellation protection and so much more. Beautiful seat view, so you get a panoramic view of your seat before you even buy. That's always in the app. The lowest price guarantee, or they will credit you 110% of the difference. So download the Game Time app today and make sure for all of your events, whether it is Bears, Blackhawks, Bulls, you use that Game Time. If you download the Game Time app and use code CHGO, you'll get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHGO for $20 off. Tap Ticket Go. Download the Game Time app today. Coming on back here on the CHGO Cubs podcast, Joey Christopolous, Luke Stuckmeyer, producer Sean Anderson on the controls today. We're doing thumbs up, thumbs down on the 2025 Cubs. So, Luke, you wrote this one down here, and I want to phrase it to you like this. This is going to be a competition for your favorite thumbs up. So if there's something off the board, go for it. But I want to ask you, who deserves the biggest thumbs up from the Chicago Cubs this season? Is it team leader in home runs, Michael Busch? Is it first half superstar and 30-30 player, PCA, Pete Armstrong, a guy that we haven't seen do that in a Cubs uniform in quite some time? Rhino, for example, Sandberg, Sosa, all that stuff. And then finally, is it possibly rookie of the year, Cade Horton, a guy who came on in the second half that we were literally doing Jake Arrieta comp stats up against each other. So for you, Luke, who gets the biggest thumbs up from the Chicago Cubs?
It's a wild card. I'm going with Joseph in the live YouTube chat here at the all new CHGO Cubs YouTube channel, who's saying CHGO, pat on the back, gets a season thumbs up. Huh? Joseph. I'll always read a nice comment.
Good name, strong name.
All right, that's difficult. There are so many huge thumbs up to this team individually when you want to go through players. We could rapid fire them here in a little bit if you want. Like,
yeah, I got a list. I woke up and made a list of positives when I woke up yesterday after they lost, and I was like, wow, this list is a lot longer than I thought it was going to be.
For sure it is. And we're going to give every single player a report card, just like we do every offseason. Eventually, each player will get their own report card, probably half a show to each guy. PCA is an interesting one. I want to give the biggest thumbs up this year to somebody who did it all season long and in the postseason. So for that reason, my answer would be Michael Busch. When you look at even though he didn't hit against lefties, he did it in middle of the order. He did it at the top of the order. He had a better WRC plus than Freddie Freeman and Vlad Jr. Like, you go down the list, like some of the names he's in there with, you're like, wow. Okay. He took a huge step this year. But in the same breath, it's really hard not to recognize Cade Horton's finish. Like, we haven't seen anybody pitching like for the Cubs like that since we had Arrieta at his peak. I think it's the most exciting thing that has developed for the Cubs this year. And that's hard to say because PCA, how could you not give him a thumbs up, even though the postseason was not good, even though the second half was not great? The guy put up 30-30. Like, what are we talking about? He's 23 years old, and he put up a 30-30. Like, what other expectation did you have from this year? If you went at the beginning of the season and said, well, I want him to be perfect at the plate, I want him to be perfect in the field, I want him to calm down a little bit, you're not going to get all that in one season. You got a guy that at 23 years old went 30-30, started in an all-star game. It's hard not to say PCA is the biggest thumbs up, even though it wasn't consistent. But it's not with young players all the time. So I guess I'll give it to Michael Busch because he did it for a more consistent period of time. But you cannot ignore what PCA did in the first half, and even with a slow second half, what it finished as. 30-30 at 23 years old. How could you not give that a thumbs up?
Yeah, and the reason why I pitted those three guys against you was because they're all thumbs up players for me from the Chicago Cubs this year. And plus, I think they're the guys that took the biggest step forward in their career, right? Now, I want to be very fair. Nico Hoerner deserves a huge thumbs up this season. He was absolutely fantastic. He deserves a Gold Glove. Almost hit 300, something that only 6 other guys in baseball are doing nowadays, and showed up in the playoffs, right? But he's a guy that we almost expect that from him. He's almost like ho-hum, boring. Oh, Nico Hoerner is always amazing. These three guys, Michael Busch, Pete Crow Armstrong, and Cade Horton, all took mega leap forwards, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it's hard to not, especially the type of player that Michael Busch has become, because now I'm walking out of this year thinking there's a possibility Michael Busch could be even better next year.
Yeah.
And I think that's really saying something. If you're talking about all of a sudden now we finally have that first baseman again who's going to hit 30 home runs and probably driving 100 RBIs, that's really something. And Cade Horton for me I think Cade Horton is a huge thumbs up, but I just want to see him stay healthy next year and get through a full complement of innings before I start anointing him the next great ace or whatever that is. He'll be a top of the rotation guy for the Chicago Cubs, but is he the de facto number one ace? I just think he's a young player, a little bit more to prove, and I just want to see him stay healthy, even though at the end of this year, let's be honest, was a pretty much a freak injury or a freak occurrence. Coughing too hard.
Yeah.
I think it's Pete Crow Armstrong in this one because I get it. The second half was really tough, and the second half was a complete, honestly, it was a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde night and day from the superstar ascension that we saw him in the first half. But, I don't want to, I am going to replicate some of your points, man. He's 23 years old.
Yeah.
He patrols center field for you. He plays every day. He's going to win a Gold Glove. He hit 30 bombs. He drove in 90 runs. He's an incredibly electric player who cares. He gives a damn. And if you want to tell me, if you want to start building the future of the Chicago Cubs, that is a great building piece, in my opinion, because I can't wait to see what he does next year and the years after that. Now, I think a fun argument or a fun conversation that me and you were going to have all winter is, can we expect 30 home runs from Pete Crow Armstrong every single year? Is he maybe a little bit more closer to the guy in the 20 to 25 range with amazing defense, and maybe he gets a little bit better with the bat to ball? We're going to find out. But I'm here for the ride, Luke. I'm here for that ride. And it was a huge, giant thumbs up for Pete Crow Armstrong, who officially now we can not only just label a star in Major League Baseball, but a guy that I can't wait to watch grow in the Cubs lineup for years to come.
By the way, we are now 3 away from 90,000 subscribers. We just need 3 more subscribers to the CHGO Sports YouTube page, and Cubs would win. The Cubs would win here at CHGO. You would be the winners.
Oh, man. Who's going to do it? Who's going to step up?
3 more subscribers. 6 more minutes. Here's what I would say about PCA, and then we can rapid fire if you want. PCA was 3 steps forward, 1 step back. Cade Horton was 2 steps forward, half a step back because of injuries. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Busch was 2 steps forward. They're all right.
And then Craig held him back.
But
Craig would hold him back.
Close to like 2 huge steps forward, right?
Yeah.
So, and let's not forget guys like Matthew Boyd and Brad Keller and Daniel Palencia. Like, we're going to get to those guys. They're all thumbs ups. And you could say all of them were huge because without Matthew Boyd, what are you when Steele goes down if Boyd doesn't turn into that guy? The all-star. Like, he's on that list. He should be on that list too. And by the way, when you needed him at the absolute most, he came up with maybe his biggest performance. Not the one against, not the one that started the series, the one that almost finished the series.
Yeah.
Because he should have never been in that position in the first one. So I'll stick with PCA, but I think there's 4 or 5 guys that you could say are right there with him, or you could make a case for instead of PCA.
Yeah. So Luke, like, oh man, after our post-game show, I came home, I stayed up for a while. I got up, I was feeling bad. And, I'm always the type of guy, I write stuff down. I kept a journal growing up, all that kinds of stuff. So I woke up and I just started kind of like, I tried to write down all the things that I thought were positive for the Chicago Cubs this year. And I was really surprised with my list. Now, some of these are big, some of these are small, some of these are whatever, but I just want to rip this off to you really quick. And I just want you to comment on what kind of sticks out, and we'll maybe wrap up the show like this. And obviously we'll have more thumbs up, thumbs down all this week here on CHGO Cubs. But here's what I had for positives. I had the Michael Busch ascension. Nico Horner equals very, very good. Seiya's first half. PCA, a star is born. Kyle Tucker's first 2 months. Carson Kelly's start and resurgence in his career. Dansby's hard hit rate, the highest of his career. Ian Happ's incredible September to just get us into the playoffs in the first place. Matt Shaw's resilience, slump up, slump down, Miners down, back in, stuck with it. Justin Turner's walk-off home run and his leadership in the locker room. Matthew Boyd becomes an all-star. Jamison Tyon's veteran consistency. Cade Horton's run at Rookie of the Year. Colin Ray is officially underrated. Daniel Palencia's emergence. Brad Keller's new groove. Andrew Kittredge, good at the trade deadline. And then obviously the Anthony Rizzo return, celebrating Ryan Sandberg, and Sammy Sosa and Derek Lee all enter the Hall of Fame. When you start to look at it, there were a lot of great positive storylines and elements about the Chicago Cubs team. Any of those stick out to you in particular?
I think they all stick out as pointing to what we started with at the beginning of the podcast. This was the best Cubs season in what feels like an eternity, right? We're coming on. Next year is going to be 2026, and we're going to look back and say, oh, we're going to all celebrate 2016. 2017 was good. And then it started to slowly disappear, and then it was gone. It just vanished. And we were sitting there hoping that they were going to win 62 games one year. That's how bad it got. And it was just miserable, some games that you would watch. They are back to being relevant. So they're all thumbs up. And I love the way the Cubs brought back the past this season. They've started to do it more. I loved Rizzo coming back. I loved Sammy coming back. That was a huge one in the offseason. We said goodbye to Rhino, and maybe Rizzo coming back is someone that can take over that leadership role from Rhino, right? Like, Rhino was all of the 80s and 90s, and he carried that torch and was always the next Mr. Cub for me, right? It was Ernie, Rhino, and now Rizzo's back in the fold, hopefully, and we'll start to see players from that 2016 come back. You know who else was back? Ben Zobrist was back. He was here on the podcast. Yeah. Ben Zobrist was around the ballpark all the time.
Great one.
So I think the Cubs absolutely did a ton of things right this year, and it just feels good that they are. It feels bad that they're not in the Final Four of baseball, if you will, and it feels bad that they didn't beat the Brewers, but in the grand scheme of things, I can zoom out and say big thumbs up, 2025 Chicago Cubs.
Yeah, walk and chew gum at the same time, right? Like, yep. Cubs fans, like, I'm not particularly happy today. I'm still pretty depressed and heartbroken that we're not in the Final Four, at least trying to compete with the Los Angeles Dodgers right now to win the pennant. But again, you also have to reflect and look back and try and appreciate and understand that a lot of good things are pointing in the right direction for the Chicago Cubs. A lot of great things happened this year. It's not going to be easy to replicate them all. You know, is Matthew Boyd going to be an all-star next year? Just for example, that is yet to be seen. but at least now it's pointing in a direction. If you're flowing down a stream right now, we are going with the current towards hopefully a brighter future. And the hope is, in terms of the front office and the decisions that they make, that they go out and they improve the team across a bunch of different levels. And that's going to be that's going to be the challenge this offseason. And that's what we're going to be talking about. And CHGO Cubs is going to be here documenting it all along the way. We got one more subscriber. We're down to 2, ladies and gentlemen. We got 2 for 90,000. You're going to have another opportunity in about an hour with CHGO Bulls when they go live for their off-day show to get us to 90K. Luke Stuckmeyer, Joey Christopolous. Good to see you, Luke.
You too. We'll see you tomorrow. Justin Roman's going to join us, right?
Justin Roman will be with us tomorrow. We're going to be with you all week. We got shows for you Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Hold on.
What did we do it?
We're 1 away. We're just going to go to overtime, and we're just going to beg people. How about that?
We're 1 away.
Again,
so what we will do is we won't give it to Big Dave and Peck. No, we're petty that way. We're going to save it for ourselves. Is there anybody out there?
You could see right now
1 away
on screen. We are 1 subscriber away.
Come on, somebody do it.
Please, it's 1 subscriber, just 1 little sub.
And can't you give 1 subscriber to some of the positive things we just talked about? 1 subscriber out there.
56 people watching right now.
Who's going to do it? And here's
one single person.
If you're confused,
56 are not subscribers.
Yeah, if you're confused about this too, also, honestly, this isn't costing you money. It is just a click of the button. And now we're getting selfish because CHGO Cubs, we've been working hard. We've been doing watch-alongs. I get it. Eating cake ain't easy.
There it is.
Hey, 90K.
Cubs
Go
win.
get everybody out
Fly
there.
the
Get them in
W
here.
for 90.
There, we did it. Get in here, everybody. Come on down.
I want to point something out. Not only did we reach 90,000, just remember that is the year that I graduated high school. And so I get credit for some of this. 90 is the key number.
Hey, and clearly 2 people were waiting because now we're at 90:01.
Oh,
so
thanks.
Somebody wanted to be, but 2 people wanted to be 90.
CHGO Cubs chat. Just know, forever and always will be known as the show and the audience that got it done. That got us over 90K.
I might unsubscribe just so we're back to 90,000 even.
Do we have the opportunity to run any of the graphics or teasers or anything, or are we going to save that?
Oh, yeah, I guess we can.
We'll just hold on 1 second, guys.
That makes
Luke,
sense.
if you're ready, man, let's give them a little taste, and we'll carry it over to CHGO Bulls now of that we've unlocked 90,000 subscribers.
What's the
Joey's a
teaser?
pretty good
What's it going to be?
producer,
What are the big diehard deals? And for new subscribers to CHGO diehards?
Let me tell you, I think we're about to make it absolutely dirt cheap to join as a CHGO diehard. Check this out right now because you have unlocked 90,000 subscribers. Thank you so much, everyone. Now, new diehards, only $27 for year 1. Luke, that's like $2 a month, man.
That's like 2 Starbucks drinks.
50% off all merch. So check this out. Brand new right now. CHGO Grizzly Bear with the skyline. I absolutely love it. That's the CHGO college football one, I believe. It doesn't matter. So that means basically now you're getting a t-shirt for approximately $15, $15 to $20, maybe after shipping. $27 for year 1 of becoming a diehard. And it isn't just about the merch. You get access to our CHGO Discord lounge. You can text us and talk to us whenever you want in the Discord lounge. We just talk sports. You can also check out our wonderful exclusive written content. We got Adam Johns in the house now. Patrick Norton's newsletter comes out you daily. So if you're like, man, I didn't watch any of the games last night, you can read it in about 4 minutes and go, I'm all caught up on sports. Luke, we did it. 90,000.
I've always been the class of 90, Prospect High School. Shout out to the Knights. However, now we are all the class of 90,000.
It feels good, guys. It feels good. Thank you so much, CHGO Cubs chat, for joining us today. Thank you, Luke Stuckmeyer. Thank you to our producer, Sean Anderson. Today's episode, obviously and always, presented by Toyota. Let's go places and also Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary with Bet365. Joey Christopolous here. We'll be back tomorrow. Justin Roman will be in the house talking more Chicago Cubs. Yeah, Luke, that's right. 90K, baby. Fly that W.
See ya.
We all silly like the mayor.